morning vlog. Happy Vlogmas day 11. Wait, no, it's Vlogmas day 12. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new to the vlogs. I'm so excited for today. I'm always so excited waking up knowing that it's a Vlogmas day and that I'm vlogging today. Loads of flies outside my window, that's really weird. Cheers. I'm so satisfied this morning by this. I purchased this scrunchie with all these colours months ago from a market in Arundel in the south of England, and I got this very stretchy, colourful, it's like thin jumper material, like ribbed material on Vinted for a couple of pounds. It was Primark previously, but I absolutely loved the colours of it. It's so fun and it matches exactly my scrunchie. It's so satisfying. I don't know what it is, but I'm so joyful and excited today. I can't even get my brain together to think of what I want to say to you. So today I have two goals, that's four. I have two goals. The first one is I want to write my Substack post for the week. I make weekly Substack posts on my experience as an autistic ADHDer. What are you snorting for? Cyrus is here. Welcome to Vlogmas day 12. You okay, buddy? My brain isn't in gear yet. The second half of this week is going to be taken up a bit more by me needing to pack to go away for Christmas. And usually my Substack posts go up on a Thursday and it's Tuesday today, so I'd really like to get that done today to schedule it for Thursday. The second thing is that I want to carry on with the wrapping of gifts and potentially finish the wrapping of gifts. That would be really ideal. But first, I wanted to talk to you about books. So, last night I finished In the Company of Witches. Oh my gosh, this was so fun to read. So I gave this 4.5 stars because it was a little bit slow at the first third. I felt like just getting into it and getting into the momentum of it. But once I was past maybe halfway, it was all necessary setting up the story at the beginning. But just for me and for my pace of reading and for my motivation to keep reading, I had a little bit of a lull. But last night I went on Spotify, not sponsored obviously, and I found the audiobook of this. And oh my gosh, it changed my reading experience so much. So I listened at the same time as reading the physical book, and I cannot tell you how much it helped my brain to stay focused. I never thought that I had too much of an issue with focusing on reading because I've always enjoyed reading, but the more I get to know my brain, the more I realise that actually being an ADHDer does affect me in that way. Like, I do really get distracted from the page. I randomly stop being able to absorb the words on the page, and so it takes me ages to get into it properly. My eyes wander or my mind wanders and I lose where I am on the page, all these different types of things. And so because of that experience, I've just always thought, oh, I'm quite a slow reader. And I've always thought about it in that way, rather than it being because actually I have ADHD and I do really easily get distracted from the page. And saying get distracted doesn't really properly explain what's actually happening for me in the moment. But right now, that's the best use of words I can find to describe. So I ended up reading probably between the last entire half and the last third of this book last night because of the audiobook. And it made it so much more of an enjoyable experience to read because the audiobook was so immersive. I wasn't the hugest fan of the person's voice, but what they did do really well was they had different voices for different characters and they changed their voice in different ways for different characters. And I love that because it really does make it so much more of an immersive experience. It's so cozy, it's so perfect for autumn specifically. I know we're into winter now, but I did kind of start this in autumn, I guess. I think I started it when it was still November, yeah. But the very small synopsis on the back says, when a guest dies in the B&B she helps her aunts run, a young witch must rely on some good old-fashioned investigating to clear her aunt's name in this magical and charming new cosy mystery. And that's exactly the right way to describe this book. 4.5 stars. So, what I really want to do before I get into today's tasks is to start A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I have to'd and fro'd, is that how you say that? Plurally? I've to and fro'd multiple times over the last probably couple of years about whether I should read these or not, but now it is the time. I'm excited to get into this. It's probably going to be a page turner. It's probably going to be very intriguing. It's probably going to grip me. The other thing that I would say about this book, now that I'm thinking about it, is that you can tell by the size. This is a mass market paperback, which means it is tiny, and also the text is really damn small. So this is going to be quite refreshing because obviously the text is like normal size for a normal sized book that's not a mass market paperback. I did enjoy the fact that In the Company of Witches was so small at times because it's so easy to carry around and it's so easy to hold in your hand. But I am excited to get back to normal sized font. So let's get into this. Let's get cozy, let's drink some coffee, and let's begin our day with some reading. So, it is now 5 to 12 and I just got to the start of chapter 4, which is page 33. I think I've been reading for about half an hour. I want to get started with my Substack post now. I might go for a walk with the dog first actually, but I just thought I would tell you about my initial thoughts of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I love how it's laid out. Like, there's such interesting formatting happening because Pip, the main character, who is reinvestigating the crime, is recording like a log on a dictaphone, or it's probably a recording app type thing. And so there are sections where it's laid out like an interview, which is really cool. I'm also listening to the audiobook at the same time, and the production of the audiobook has been made so that it sounds like she's speaking into a walkie-talkie. Like, it sounds different in these bits, which is also really cool. There's also, like, it starts off with the actual scan of her project, and there is an inserted Facebook post of comments that are related to who she's speaking to, and a map that she has annotated. So it's quite interactive in that way. It's been very easy to get into so far, so I'm intrigued about where this is going to go. It sets up the story really well. The only thing that I'm experiencing is one of the weirder things, or I actually don't think it's that weird now that I'm thinking about it, but one of the things that has really affected me since being in Autistic Burnout is I'm much more sensitive to anything and everything. So I more easily cry at emotional things, but also when it comes to TV shows and books about crime, especially when it's not done in like a mystery cozy way, like In the Company of Witches was. What actually happened in this crime is quite serious and quite like hard-hitting, and I have noticed in the last few months of being in Autistic Burnout that that stuff really affects me a lot more than it used to. I have tried a couple of times to watch random like crime dramas and stuff like that with my parents, because that was a genre of TV show that we used to always be able to watch together, and I just can't handle it very well anymore. It's easier to deal with in a book like this because I'm not visually seeing the murders and stuff, but obviously books conjure up images in your mind, and circumstances conjure up emotions and things like that, and it's still just not as easy for me to tolerate. Which, when you think about it, is quite natural. Like, it's not really a natural thing for us to be watching murders on the TV all the time, even if they're not real. Like, as human beings, it's not that natural for us to be exposed to that type of stuff all the time, but we are, because that's just how TV has evolved. But yeah, it's just an interesting thing to note in the way that Autistic Burnout has affected me. Maybe I'll make a specific video soon about the ways in which Autistic Burnout has affected me and what my experience of Autistic Burnout has been like, because I feel like there needs to be more content about that on the internet. Autism in general is so under-researched. It's becoming more and more researched, but really where we are in the grand scheme of actually knowing about it is very little. And so Autistic Burnout is a thing that even if I went to the doctors and said, I'm experiencing Autistic Burnout right now, what can I do to help myself? They would have no idea what I was talking about. So I'm sure I'll make that video at some point. But yeah. Okay. This was cool, this was fun, this was a good start to the book. Let's go and go for a walk and then come back, make some cozy tea and start writing.
Eventually.
Hi friends, welcome back to the house. So I am having a cute little cookie. As you can see, I've already taken a bite, and a cup of chai tea as per usual in my Christmas mug. Cheers. Whew, it's still very hot. I put honey in this time instead of sugar, which I think will be a good decision. So I made these cookies last night and I am obsessed. They are chocolate chip with brown sugar and nutmeg and cinnamon, and they are just the loveliest spiced chocolatey cookie. I'm really proud of myself because I am not a baker by any means. They're just such a good flavour. And they melt in your mouth because there's so much butter in them. So, we're having that little treat for 11s, even though it's 12:30. And I'm going to start writing. I don't know what I'm posting about yet, so we'll see what comes out. Honestly, what I really want to do is just to pick that book back up and carry on reading. But I'm going to get my Substack written and scheduled for Thursday. I just finished writing my Substack post and I thought I would share it with you. I'm not going to make a habit of sharing it with you because my Substack is paid. It's only a couple of quid a month, but this is a Vlogmas treat. So, the post for this week is called Autistic Burnout. What is it and how do you know when it's over? I have been in autistic burnout since the beginning of October this year, and I don't know when it will be over. It's a strange state of liminality to be in this place where I know I am much better than I was in October, but I am still not fully well. I have to be very careful about how I exert my energy, if I exert my energy, and what varying levels of capacity I have for different tasks. For anyone who is reading the term autistic burnout for the first time, it is a state of neurological decline that some autistic folks can experience. It can be caused by many things, but because of the fact that autistic people usually experience more overwhelm than their neurotypical peers, this experience of neurological decline is generally brought on by stress. It can also be triggered by the person living a lifestyle that is beyond their energetic, physical, or social capacity. Considering the societal structure of capitalism and the story of hustle culture that we all absorb, it is not uncommon for autistic folks to compare their rate of productivity to their neurotypical peers, and in doing so, push themselves too hard, sometimes into burnout. And to clarify, when we think of burnout, we might think of the occupational burnout that some people experience when they have worked too hard. Autistic burnout is an entirely different beast. It is a neurological experience, meaning it can affect many aspects of how the person is able to function in daily life. For me, autistic burnout meant that I wasn't able to handle much. I found making food for myself extremely challenging. I needed a huge amount of rest, but I also experienced difficulty sleeping. My senses were heightened, meaning I was highly susceptible to sensory overwhelm. My tolerance for social scenarios plummeted, and I was lucky if I could start and finish one task per day. Everything I usually found difficult because of being autistic was 100 times more difficult. The reason why I wanted to write about this today, though, is that nearly 3 months in, I am feeling a lot better. I am able to handle much more. My brain can function in a way that I'm more able to stay on track. My executive functioning skills have improved. I'm able to do more without getting overwhelmed. And it's easier for me to be in social settings. No, it is easier for me to be in social settings, and I no longer have to take sensory breaks in my bedroom with my blinds closed. I am starting to be able to see how I could operate in daily life in the future. What I wonder about, though, is when I will know that I have recovered. I know I'm not fully there yet, but the fear is, will I ever be? Will there actually come a time when I don't feel like things are too much for me? Because as far as I can remember, I have felt that my whole adult life. I don't think I'm aware of how that will actually feel, so how will I know when I get there? I wonder whether this feeling of too much is a product of my neurology. Maybe the fact that current Western society was built for neurotypical people means that most autistic folks feel like the world is just too much for them, and that feeling may not ever fully go away. If that is the case, I hope to create and curate a life and lifestyle that feels just as pared down, slow and simple, loving and wholesome as possible. Does this experience of wading through the complicated healing journey of autistic burnout resonate for you? And how have you curated your lifestyle to suit your neurology? I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If any of that resonates for you, I would love to hear in the comments below what your experiences have been. I'm going to schedule this to be published on Thursday now.
12 seconds later.
Hey friends, so the time has come. I'm going to start rapping again. So, grab yourselves a cuppa, grab yourselves your gifts and paper and tape and whatever else you want to use, and let's get rapping. Cheers! I put my overhead light on this time, and I think you probably know how I feel about the big light, but it's really overcast now and raining, so I'm kind of sick of the bad lighting, but here we are. I need to get myself a ring light or something. But unless I have the big light on, then you probably won't be able to see what I'm doing very well. So I just had lunch. I had tahini noodles again. And I also got to page 50 of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and it is still so intriguing. It starts off really well. I just want to keep reading, and that's always a really good sign. I'm a bit chilly, I think I might put a vest on. We're going with pattern on pattern today. I love it. So I'm going to put a Christmas movie on while I rap today, which I'm excited for. One of my favourite Christmas movies is Jingle Jangle, which is on Netflix. But I don't know whether I'm going to watch that right now. I might save it for when I'm actually properly paying attention. I just want something Christmassy to be on in the background. Let's see what's on Disney Plus. So I've had this on my Disney Plus watch list for a few weeks. It's called Godmothered, and it sounds really funny. It says, set at Christmas time, Godmothered is a comedy about Eleanor, a young, inexperienced fairy godmother in training, played by Gillian Bell, who tries to prove her worth by showing the world that people still need fairy godmothers. Finding a mislaid letter from a 10-year-old girl in distress, Eleanor tracks her down and discovers that the girl, Mackenzie, is now a 40-year-old single mom, played by Isla Fisher, who has given up on the idea of happily ever after, but Eleanor is determined to prove her wrong. It just sounds so funny, and I really like Isla Fisher, so I'm going to put this on in the background and see what it's like. I forgot to say, if you're my mum, my dad or my sister, click out of this video now, stop watching, because I'm wrapping your Christmas presents. Friends, so that is all my wrapping done. I'm pretty chuffed about that actually, because it's only 4 PM. I thought it was going to take me much longer. I always think every year that I'm going to enjoy doing my Christmas wrapping, and I'm just not very good at it and not very patient with the paper, so I end up not really enjoying it at all. So I'm kind of glad it's done actually. Thank you so much for joining me for day 12 of Vlogmas. I cannot believe it's nearly 2 weeks. It's close to 2 weeks now. Wow. It's been a very lovely day. Thank you for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed today's vlog and that you're enjoying Vlogmas in general. If you are, please subscribe. It really helps me, and click the like button. And I will see you tomorrow.